welcome to Knit with Hannah. I'm Hannah. Today we are looking at making a knitted friendship bracelet. Hi, welcome to Knit with Hannah. I'm Hannah. I'm here with Knitting Natter to help you learn to knit the easy way. Do subscribe if this is your first time here, or even if you've been here before and you haven't subscribed, it's just down below. Click on the little bell and you'll get notifications for whenever a new video goes up. That is every Tuesday, every week. So today we are looking at knitting friendship bracelets. Now, if you've been watching me for a while, if you've been following my blog, you may be thinking, Hannah's done that before. Well, actually I have. I put the video on my blog, but I forgot to put it on YouTube. So here you go, you have it a second time round. And of course, if you're new, then it's brand new to YouTube. So here we go, knit a friendship bracelet. You're going to use up all of your scraps and have great fun.
Okay, so here we are then. We have Aran yarn, we have 5mm needles. There you go, that is the first two strands that I've already made with the Aran yarn and 5mm needles. So I'm making them with contrast colours and it just looks nice like that, so that's what I decided to do last year. And as you can see, I'm measuring my wrist now. There is 7mm wrist, 7-inch wrist rather, and you know, you can alter the number of stitches depending on how wide your wrist is. And this is a stretchy friendship bracelet, so you can do exactly the same as me and just find out if it works okay for you. I'm sure the same number of stitches will work for a 6 and an 8-inch. So basically I'm sitting here telling you how many stitches you need, and if you have a 7-inch wrist like me, then you need 45 stitches. If you have 6, then 40. If you have 8, then 50. We're going to cast on here, and I'm using the cable cast on method, which you can see again in a playlist I have on casting on. But this here, I'm going to quickly demonstrate it, and I'm going to show you the first stitch, the slip knot. So take hold of the yarn with a short end, wind it around your 2 fingers in your left hand near the tips of your fingers, and then wind it around the knuckles. And then you go underneath the first loop with your needle and pick up the second loop and pull that through. That is your slip knot. It's your first stitch on the needle. And now we're going to start casting on. Now, if you know casting on already, then you just go for it. But what we have here is the cable cast on method. So the first stitch you have on the needle, you go through that stitch, pull the loop through, and there you go, it goes straight back on the needle. And then for the cable method, instead of going into the next stitch, you actually go in between the previous and the last stitch. So you can see there that I'm going in between those last 2 stitches. And you just carry on doing that all the way through. And you are going to cast on 45 stitches. So have fun with that, and then I'll show you what you do afterwards. Yes, you're going to cast off, but it's what do you do with those strands once you've finished. You're going to cast on and cast off 45 stitches 3 times. So you can mix up your colours, you can do 3 different colours, you can do 2 colours and a contrast like I have, and just experiment, have fun with it. I'm using worsted weight yarn and 5mm needles. There you go, all the stitches are on the needle. So yes, the next process is all about casting off. Just be aware that when you are casting on, it's going to look, sometimes it will look like you've got far too many stitches, sometimes it will look like you've got too few stitches. Don't worry about it now. It's once you've cast off, and generally when you start knitting, you'll realise that you have the right width. If your tension is fine, generally you have to do just the first few rows to notice that you are doing a good job. So we're casting off here. We knit the first 2 stitches and then pull that first stitch over the second stitch, and you just carry on doing that. You knit 1 more stitch and you take that first stitch over the second stitch, and you do that all the way along the row. Okay, we'll just quickly have a look at me casting off here, and then we'll get to the fun part of actually making a bracelet with these strands. So I'm going to cut the yarn, and here we have that last loop sitting there, and that strand, that last thread is going to just go through that loop to make sure that nothing starts unraveling. And now we're going to have great fun. Pick up your tapestry needle, which of course, if you know me well, you know that the tapestry needle needs to be blunt and it will have a large hole in it, a large eye to the needle if it's a tapestry needle. So you just pick up your strands of yarn, strands of knitting that you've created, and you're going to thread one of those ends onto the needle. There you go, that's all threaded up, and with that thread on the needle, you are now going to just take hold of the tops, the ends of those other 2 pieces of knitting, and that's it. That's nice and simple. Don't need to do anything much more with that, and you do exactly the same thing with the other end. So you have casting on, casting off, and you're going to do the same with the other end there. Just put those threads into the needle. It might feel a bit tricky, but you can do it. I believe in you. There you go, and you just pull those yarn through the top of those other 2 pieces of knitting, and now you can just make sure that that is secured as well, and have some fun now. Have some fun with this knitting. So once you've sewn those 3 pieces of knitting together, you can just start to have some fun. As you can see, I'm putting a button on one end there, but you can get your sparkly thread out, just weave in between all of those stitches and just make it look a bit glam. You've got your I'm sure anyone who receives one of these friendship bracelets will be chuffed to bits, and you might even inspire them to start knitting too.
Great, thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that video. I was using Allen worsted weight and 5mm needles, and yeah, get all your beads, your buttons, your glittery thread out and just make them unique and special for you and your friends. Okay, I will see you next week. Like I said, come and join me every Tuesday and subscribe if you'd like to get notified when those new videos appear. Bye for now, happy knitting!